guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea if you are new, and if you're a returning subscriber, hey girl, what's up? Glad to have you and welcome back. So today we are doing a different type of video. I've done this kind of video on my channel before, but it's been a really long time since I have done this, and it's going to be a story time. Y'all, I have so many stories, like so many crazy things have happened to me over the period of my life, and I just feel like maybe I should share them with you guys, because at this point, even if it was like a bad situation, it's comical now and I can laugh about it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So today's story time is going to be the roommate from hell. Now, that says a lot within itself, but guys, I'm telling you, this story is so crazy. I'm just thinking, how did I live through this? Like, how was I able? Okay, we're just about to go ahead and get into the story. So as some of you may know, I graduated high school in 2013. So when I graduated high school, I had already been accepted into the college that I was going to. I already knew where I was going, I already knew what I wanted to study, all of that. So I kind of already had like my plans together and everything that I wanted to do. Now, when I graduated, I knew that two people that I went to high school with, they were going to be going to the same college that I was going to. And mind you, the college that we decided to go to was the University of Southern Mississippi, and that was about 2 hours away from my hometown. So I would really be like away from home. So when it came to figuring out like my living arrangements, like if I was gonna get an apartment, if I was gonna have a dorm, etc., at my college, it's a rule: first year you have to live on campus if you're a freshman. So that was kind of the only thing I was left with, was living on campus, or like if you wanted to commute, like if you live close, that was an option as well. But like I said, the college was about 2 hours away from my hometown, and who's driving back and forth 2 hours every day? Not me. So my friend, she is like the longest friend that I've ever had. Like, me and her, we've been friends since the 3rd grade. So her name is Sabrina. I'm gonna use her real name, but like the people that the story is actually about, I'm gonna change their names, you know, just for confidentiality. So my friend Sabrina, and then our other friend, I don't know if he wants me to use his real name, so I'll just call him Cody. So it was me, Cody, and Sabrina. We all decided to go to this college. So the summer comes after we graduated high school, and I kind of already had signed up for my housing and everything, but I didn't have a roommate in mind, just because I always know that people said don't room with your friends. And so I didn't want to room with Sabrina because I felt like it would not be good for our friendship. So because I wasn't rooming with Sabrina, and of course I couldn't room with Cody because he was a guy, but because I wasn't rooming with Sabrina, that meant that I had to take my chances and get a random roommate, because I didn't know anyone else there, and I didn't know, you know, who I would want to room with. So I think maybe it was the end of June. So the school randomly picked like who they wanted to be roomed together, this, that, and the third. So I got an email and they told me who my new roommate was gonna be for the fall semester. And they gave me her name, and also it had like her email address so that I could get in touch with her, and we could kind of like, you know, get to know each other, figure out, you know, what we're gonna do, who's bringing what, this, that, and the third. So this roommate, we're gonna call her Kayla. So I emailed Kayla probably like a few hours after I got the email from the school, and I basically introduced myself, told her who I was. We exchanged phone numbers, and then we started like texting and everything. So we started texting. We even also like started following each other on Instagram and social media and stuff like that. And she seemed like a really cool girl. Like, I felt like we were going to get along great. You know how, you know, when you first start following somebody on Instagram, you're just going through their pictures to kind of get a feel of like, you know, what type of stuff they post, who they are, and, you know, their background, this, that, and the third. So Kayla had a boyfriend back home where she lived. And so basically her boyfriend was a year younger than us, so he was still in high school. He was going to be a senior when we stepped into our freshman year of college. So basically she was leaving him behind, but they were going to do like, you know, the long distance thing. So fast forward to move-in day. This was like in August. So from June to August, we were just, you know, getting to know each other, this, and the third. So move-in day comes, I get all my stuff moved in. She's getting all her stuff moved in. She had an older sister that went to the same school. So her sister was kind of telling us the ropes and what we should do, where we should be, this, that, and the third, you know. So, I was getting to pretty much know her sister. Her mom and her brother were there helping her move in as well. So I was kind of like getting to know them. My people, we moved in super early. Like it was me, my grandma, not my grandma, me, my grandpa, my mom, and my brother. So we kind of had moved in super early, and my folks had already left by the time they got there. So in the midst of moving in, like I said, we're vibing, we're getting to know each other. Her and her family, they decided that they were gonna leave and go. I don't really know where they went, but they left. And they were gone for a few hours, which was cool. So then me and Sabrina, we linked up. I went down to her room, met her roommate, met the people down on her floor. We went out and we started exploring and everything. So as weeks were going by, we were getting settled in, getting used to going to class and everything. Me and Kayla, we were getting along. We were not talking that much just because, like, I'm not a very social person. It doesn't mean that I'm like, I don't like you or I have a problem with you. It's just that I stay to myself. And that's the kind of roommate that I was. So, we, like I said, we kind of done got to know each other and, you know, our rules, this, that, and that. But when we were getting to know each other over the summer before we actually move in, she failed to tell me that her entire friend group came to our school. So basically, like 6 or 7 girls were in my dorm room at all times. Small ass dorm room, 6 or 7 girls, all times. Well, that within itself was kind of irritating because, like I said, I stay to myself. And if I have company, it's usually only Cody or Sabrina. So that's 2 people. Like, I don't mind you having company, but for all of your friends to be in our room at one time, like, it's a lot. Like, this is not what I signed up for. But I never really pressed the issue and I never really said anything just because, like I said, those were her friends. She's known them since like high school and I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable. So as time went on, I started seeing my roommate like around campus. Like, we had our first class with each other. We had our 8 o'clock class together. We had the same exact teacher. So we would kind of walk to class together. But then after class, like, our schedules changed. So she would venture off and do her thing and I would venture off and do my thing. So I started seeing her around about with this girl. The girl was an open lesbian, which is, I don't have a problem with, just PSA. She was a lesbian. So I just thought they were really good friends, or maybe she was one of the girls that she knew from back home. So then, like, we would go into our dorm room at night, you know, she would still be talking to her boyfriend, checking in with him, letting him know how her day went, this, that, and the third, which she should be doing, or she should have been doing, you know. So I'm thinking everything's cool with her and her dude, but so the girl that I had been seeing her around campus with started coming to our dorm room. So at this point, I'm starting to like, my antennas went up, okay? Red flag, okay? Because they was like getting super close and I just didn't know like where this was going. So mind you, like I said, she has a boyfriend back home. He's a senior in high school. We're freshmen in college, okay? So the girl, she even got the girl, okay, we're gonna give the girl a name and stop calling her the girl. So Honestly, to this day, I don't know her real name. Me, Cody, and Sabrina actually gave her a nickname. We started calling her Strongface. So I'm just gonna call her Strongface. So Strongface was in our dorm room a lot. Like, she didn't live in our building, she lived in the other building, but she was over there a lot, like a lot. And the more she started being over there, the less that Kayla started calling and checking in with her boyfriend. So that's when I knew like something wasn't right. So one night, I had came to my dorm room from the library. And when I walked in, Kayla was on the phone with her boyfriend. She had the phone on speaker and they were arguing. So I'm just trying to not eavesdrop, but eavesdrop, okay? And I'm hearing him talk about somebody told him that she's messing around with some girl, and they was fussing, going back and forth about it. So eventually she came clean and she said, there is somebody that I'm interested in. After she told him that, long story short, they end up breaking up. I think they broke up like that night. Like it was finito. It was final. They was done, okay? Like I said, now that she's free on the range, she's a free lady, she's spending a lot of time with Strongface. And so this one particular day, she came to me and she was like, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, you know, I was with my boyfriend back home. We broke up, da 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 da, just because like I feel like I'm bisexual and I want to like explore now that I'm in college and this, that, and the third. So I was like, okay. And I'm just trying to figure out, why are you telling me? Because, okay. And she was like, you don't have a problem with me being a lesbian, do you? I was like, no, I don't care. That's your business. If that's what you like, that's what you like. That's cool with me. No problem. So after that conversation, you know, we're just functioning as roommates as we have before. And so one day in particular, I came back to the room from class. I was super exhausted this day. So I was on my computer playing around, and then eventually I think I put my computer on the charger and I got in the bed. And so at this point, I knew I was gonna take a nap because, like I said, I was exhausted. It was probably like maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know how you're like not sleep, but you're on the brink of being asleep, but you're not? I was on the brink of being asleep. So I noticed the door open. I figured, okay, it's Kayla. She's coming in from class, whatever, whatever. Usually when either one of us are trying to take a nap, both of us are very courteous of each other and not trying to be loud or, you know, whatever, whatever. So she came in, she was tiptoeing, she was being really quiet. But then behind her, I noticed some more footsteps. So I was like, okay, she has company. And that company was none other than Strongface, okay? So, they're like in her bed, whatever, and they're whispering. I can hear them, like, I'm not asleep. She thought I was asleep because I had my back to them and my face turned to the wall. And so, like, she's whispering, and then all of a sudden, like, I hear zippers coming unzipped, pants coming off, things going down, okay? To keep this at a PG-13, y'all know what was going on. So, in my mind, I'm going crazy because I've never experienced anything like this. And I'm just like, do I wake up? Do I, like, do I play sleep? Like, what do I do? So eventually, because I could not let this go any further because I just did not want to witness. I didn't want to be around. I didn't, no. So what I ended up doing is I raised straight up in the bed and I said, excuse me? And they was like, oh, we're about to leave. We're just finna go. We're finna go to her dorm. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Her roommate's not there, so we're gonna go to her dorm. I was like, yeah, you need to. At that point, I was pissed. Like, And she knew it, because it's just like, if you knew you were coming back to the room to do that, you could have texted me and I could have like gotten up, gone to my friend's room. I could have gone to the library. There's a lot of other things that I could have done, but been in there experiencing and witnessing that. So they get up and they leave and they go to her dorm. So at this point, I'm furious. I'm not even in the mood to take a nap anymore. The first thing I did, I don't know if this was childish or not. Y'all let me know. But the first thing I did was call my mama screaming. I was screaming in the phone because I couldn't believe that just happened. Like, I couldn't believe that that is what was going on. And my mom was trying to calm me down, and I was just very like over the top. Yeah, I was screaming. I think I was on the verge of crying. So my mom calmed me down and she was like, look, you need to apply for a new roommate. At this point, the window to switch rooms or change rooms had closed. Like, we were probably in a good 2 months of school. I want to say it was probably on the brink of being like the beginning of October. So y'all know, if you're familiar with like switching rooms, I think they give you probably like 2 or 3 weeks after school starts to know if you want to switch or not. After that, that's it. You're stuck until the next semester. So I'm just like, look, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to switch rooms, but I'm gonna try. So I didn't want to see her face. So y'all, I packed me a bag and I went downstairs and stayed with Sabrina and her roommate, because if I would have been there that night when she got back, it would have been bad. Like, it would have been horrible. So like I said, I packed me a bag and I went downstairs and I stayed with Sabrina and her roommate. And y'all, I had to sleep on their floor and it was just not, it was not okay. So after, it was probably about 2 days after the incident happened, I finally went back to my room. When I get back to my room, do you know what I witnessed? This girl took syrup out of my little breakfast nook that I had set up. Okay, she took syrup and she poured syrup all over my fucking rug. And then she cut my cord, my charger cord to my phone. So I had like 2 chargers. One was like to keep in my backpack on the go, and then one was for the room. So she cut my charger cord, and oh baby, at that point I was ready to fight. So I confronted her. Basically, I told her, like, look, first of all, that was unacceptable what you did. It wasn't. She was like, well, we didn't do nothing. No, yes, you did. I'm not dumb and I wasn't asleep. So that wasn't acceptable. And for you to even like vandalize my property, I got a problem with you now, because I didn't touch any of your shit. So why are you touching my stuff? So she just kept going on and on about how I'm a homophobe. And like, she's told me I was a homophobe because I wasn't cool with letting that go down. No, that doesn't make me a homophobe. I just don't want to be around when that's going on. Like, eventually, like probably another week or so, we kept bumping heads. Her and her friends went out. She would bring all of her friends in the room to irritate me and get on my nerves. They would be extra rowdy, extra loud. One night they went out and she came back, and we had like these wooden closets. Like, our closets was made out of wood, and she had on some high heel shoes. She took the shoes off and she threw them in the closet. She knew that there would be like a huge noise. She did that while I was asleep, and it woke me up, and I got pissed about that. We got into it about that, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was ready to fight because you woke me up and I got at 8 o'clock in the morning. Don't disrespect me like that. So eventually I ended up emailing the head of the RAs. He was like the head of the building or whatever. And so he was not trying to switch me out rooms. Like, he wouldn't, even though they had a lot of empty rooms and they had a lot of people who didn't have a roommate. For some reason, he just did not want to switch me out. So I was like, look, maybe we just need to have a meeting. I don't really know. Maybe you could be the mediator. So we ended up having a meeting with him. Me, him, and Kayla. And Kayla was explaining to him the situation, and the guy was just like kind of on her side. And I was just like, I don't understand how you could be on her side. And he was like, well, she's an adult and she could do whatever she wants to do in her room. I was like, yeah, but also she should be wanting to do that in her own privacy. She had no privacy because I was there. Like, I don't see how somebody would be okay with that. Like, morally, how are you okay? Like, that's a whole nother story. But basically, the guy was like, okay, I see where you're coming from as well, but it's also her decision. If she decides to do that while you were in the room, there's really nothing you could do about it. And I'm just like, what planet are y'all from? So basically, I told him, look, if you don't switch me out, me and her gonna end up fighting. I basically had to tell him that we was gonna fight. And he was like, no, that is against campus guidelines. If you get in a fight, you're going to get expelled. And I was just like, okay, well, you need to switch me out, period, because I'm not staying another day with her. So it took maybe like 2 days, and I got an email saying that I was moving from the 4th floor with Kayla up to the 7th floor. And I was told that I had another roommate, but her roommate didn't come through, or she didn't come for the semester, so she hadn't had a roommate like this whole time. So when I was moving out, I was so happy. Like, and she was there when I was moving out, and she was like trying to talk to me and stuff and asking me about, I forget what she was asking me about. She was asking me, was I gonna take, yeah, she said, are you gonna take the trash out before you leave? I said, no, I don't live here no more. And she was like, well, most of that is your trash. I was like, well, I'll bag it up and leave it by the door, but I'm not taking it out. And we got into it about that. It was so petty. So then my friends Cody and Sabrina, they helped me move all of my stuff out of their room. It helped me move up to the 7th floor. And that is when I met my beloved friend to this day, Terica. I love her so much. She is so sweet. But yeah, guys, let me tell y'all something. When y'all go off to college, or if you've been through this, let me know down in the comments. Because literally, when you go off to college, make sure that for one, you know, well, there's no way you can know the person. I'm just gonna wish y'all luck, because my first rodeo, it was not it. That was not it. So yeah, moral of the story is, girls be leaving their boyfriend back home to go to college and be lesbians, I guess. I don't know. And this is not me being insensitive, and this is not me taking jabs at lesbians, because I have no problems with it, but I just have a problem with what went down in my room. Had she been with a dude, I still would have had a problem. So let's not get that misconstrued or twisted, okay? But yeah, guys, that was my horrific story with my first ever roommate. Like I said, let me know down in the comments if you guys have ever experienced this. If you're going through it currently, we can start a prayer group. Like, just let me know. And if you guys really like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want me to continue putting out content such as this, let me know and I will be sure to oblige. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.